Hi, everybody. My name is Sayla Jacob, and I'm a String Spark executive. And today I want to talk to you about motivation. Specifically, I want to tell you about how to keep your students motivated and how to encourage them to continue learning their instruments. I would also like to share my personal journey and how I managed to stay motivated despite many setbacks and discouragements. And hopefully, you could use that advice to teach your student and to motivate them. So, I first started my music journey in the fourth grade when I started playing the trumpet for my school band. And when I first started playing the trumpet, I was super passionate. I loved learning new music and I made a lot of friends in band. So, I was super excited to go to class every day. And I was also really good at the trumpet. I picked up notes and rhythms pretty easily because I grew up in a community filled with music. So, I had a lot of prior knowledge, which made me really good at the trumpet and gave me an advantage over other people. So this passion continued all throughout middle school. I was excited to go to class every day until around the end of eighth grade when I found out a lot of my friends weren't planning to continue band in high school. Also, a lot of the music started to get really hard and it didn't come as naturally as it used to in elementary school. Despite these setbacks, though, I continued to play band in high school and I even decided to play the French horn, thinking that maybe a new instrument would kind of reignite my passion for band and make me more excited to play. I was really wrong, though, because I was horrible at the French horn. I just couldn't play notes as well. It was just a lot harder. And for me, it was a lot different from the trumpet. So I had a lot of trouble. And this really demotivated me as a student. And I think at this point in my music journey, I was the closest to dropping out of band and just quitting altogether. It was at this time, however, that my mom noticed that I wasn't as passionate about band. She noticed that I wasn't practicing as much and I wasn't as excited to go to class. So she had a talk with me and she convinced me to switch back to the trumpet and she also convinced me to keep on going on my musical journey. And looking back, I'm really glad that she pushed me to keep on going on my musical journey because if I had let this one moment define the rest of my musical journey, I would miss out on so many opportunities and lessons that have shaped who I am as a person and a musician. And so, what I think we can learn from my story is that as tutors, it is vital that we recognize when our students are starting to become demotivated. It's so important when we to recognize when our students aren't as excited to go to class or aren't as excited about new music. And when we recognize these signs, it's important that we take the proper steps to motivate our students to continue learning their instruments. One way to encourage your students to learn their instruments is by creating a positive environment. This means supporting them with positive affirmations. Some examples could be complimenting them on their tone or acknowledging some rhythmic accuracy in their music. Another way to create a positive learning environment for music students is by acknowledging how far they've come in learning their instruments. You can do this by acknowledging notes and rhythms they may have struggled with in the past and comparing those to recent accomplishments and successes they have had. When you remind students about how far they've come in their musical journey, it motivates them to keep on going despite hardships and difficult tasks. Another fun way to motivate your students is by incorporating games and little challenges into your everyday lesson. I remember my elementary school band director would have this game where he saw which section could play through their scales the fastest. This not only motivated me to practice at home, but it also made band something that I could look forward to every day. We can also set goals for students to accomplish between each and every lesson. Most music education students nowadays just practice the same music until the next concert. And while there is nothing really wrong with this, it can be demotivating at times to just be playing the same thing over and over again. Instead, we can set short term goals between each lesson in order to guide students in their daily practice. Short term goals such as these can also promote a sense of accomplishment and progress for the students. Finally, as tutors, it's really important to recognize burnout in our students. Burnout can easily cause a student to drop their instrument and stop engaging in musical education. When you recognize burnout, it's important to talk to your student and teach them how to manage stress and how to accomplish their goals without overexerting themselves. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you find some practical applications for the tips and tricks I gave you. Bye!